Hey, what's up guys, Everton here, and today we're going to do a comparison between two noise cancelling headphones. On my left hand I have the Sony MDR XB950N1s. Right here I have the Bose QC35s. Now these are two noise cancelling headphones that cater to a different demographic and a different audience. So we're going to take a look at the differences today and help you decide which one is really right for you. Now we're going to take a look at the build quality and aesthetics, the sound, and also the features, because they do pack some different features to cater to those different audiences. All right, so since the Sonys are kind of the newer headphone, let's go ahead and start out with the looks and feel for the Sony. Now first off, these are some very overpronounced headphones. They're big, they're wide, and you're going to attract a lot of attention with them. Basically, these are made up of three components here as far as materials. We have the air cushions with the overpronounced, very comfortable and plush soft leather. We also have on the sides here hard treated plastic, and on the top we have the metal band. Under the metal band, the part that makes the top of the head is soft leather as well, basically put there for comfort. Overall, this thing is very comfortable. It does have the ability to swivel, and also now, unlike its predecessor, you cannot fold it. Now this also does come with a carrying pouch with a drawstring. You can go ahead and throw that in the backpack, versus before where these didn't have the ability to fold. They did have the ability to swivel, so now you can take them with you. It'll be a little bit more portable. Overall, I think that the comfort is nice. Some things that come on here are you're gonna see an NFC logo. You're also going to have different buttons to control different functions like the noise cancellation. Also have the input, the micro USB, and also we have the bass effect button and also the power button. On the other ear cuff we have the controls for the volume, pause and play, and also the impression volume. Overall, I feel like it did take a hit on the design part of this for one huge reason, and that reason is because the buttons to control certain functions are just a little bit too flush for me. Oftentimes I would be looking to turn on the bass boost button, and because that bass boost button, I couldn't really find it because it was so flush to the body. I just ended up taking the headphone off, looking where it was, and then pressing it. Now that may get better over time. For me, it hasn't. I really haven't taken the time to just really learn where it is by memory. But the noise cancellation is also the same thing, along with the power button. They're just a little bit too plush for me. I feel like you already have a big canvas. These are already gigantic earphones. Who cares about being minimalistic on these buttons that help us control the functionality? So, but overall though, I do like the way that they feel on the head. It's definitely a comfortable experience. I can wear these for hours and really not have any issues with this. Now moving on to the Bose. Now Bose are a little bit more traditional. These are here and they look very sleek, very premium. I actually really like the way that these look. Just like before, this is leather with hard treated plastic. Not a lot of metal, but it does have a metallic look to it. Now these also do rotate and they do collapse for travel as well, but these have a more compact design overall, and they can collapse even further to be even more compact, saving more space in whatever you need to put these into for travel. I think that these are actually some very sleek, very looking headphones. On the top we have leather, and under the headband is more like a microfiber, so you're definitely getting a comfortable wear all day long. Also, I just wanted to notate here that the interior on the inside of these headphones have a very deep slant around the air cups. They have very wide air cushions as well, so that when you put your ears in there, you have some very deep cutouts for your ears for comfort. That's very important. I know a lot of people are out there saying, hey, will these fit my ears? I have bigger ears. Well, yes, these are very comfortable. The gap is wide. The drivers are slanted so that you'll have ample room inside there. Going around to the buttons placement, we also have some of the standards as well. So the power is actually on the side of the air cup, which I find very convenient, and it doesn't obstruct too much from the minimalistic look of it as well. And also, so you slide the power on and you slide it one more over, push, put it into pairing mode. We have the buttons that are, instead of having separate for track control and then you have volume and things like that, they're more compact into three different buttons, which have press functionality, so you can volume up, volume down, double press to fast forward, triple press to go back and forth, and so things like that. So they've compacted the buttons a little bit with adding functionality into what these 3 buttons can do. You also have the micro USB charging port, a few speaker grills in here, and also microphone grills for picking up that noise cancellation. Basically, that's it. A very nice, a very comfortable and soft looking headphone. Overall, I really don't have any complaints about the design. I think they look very sleek. Also, I feel like they are less attractive for attention. So they do look premium, and that if someone notices your earphones, it's probably going to be because of how premium they look. But you know, it's a very sleek design, and I really like it. It's very minimalistic. Side by side now, talking about which one I like better for design. I like the Bose better. I think these are very overpronounced, and they do have some functionality as to why they're very overpronounced. Also, I want to talk about that. The air cushions are very large. The drivers don't have to be as slanted, so they don't have to, because of how far away that they push off from your ear. So you have more of a I won't call it distorted, but you'd have more of a flat speaker and drivers pumping out information as far as sound. And so that's one of the benefits. Not only that, the air cushions previously, what they did was they provided excellent passive noise cancellation. So once you put these on, they cover the air so much that a lot of the noise around you got canceled out. So there are some aesthetic and practical design functions here, but overall, I like the Bose QC35s a bit better for, well, a couple reasons. Number one, to me, they just look cleaner, right? They just look cleaner, they look better to me, and I like that minimalistic look. They also did a few practical things, like having the buttons be a little bit more raised for me to be able to find it and press it. They have a good travel, good tactility, nice quality. Also, the air cushions are a little bit wider for more people, so that you can actually fit more ears in here, and you know, speak to, and you know, basically sell to more demographic. So yeah, that's the reason why I like these. These are attractive to me as well. They're definitely unique, and if you're looking for that attention, you know, you can definitely get that on this here. All right, so now we're going to talk about sound, because these headphones do cater to 2 separate people when you're talking about sound. So first and foremost, we'll go over the Sony. Now, the Sonys are part of their extra bass line as far as the XB moniker that they use. And not only that, not only is it a naturally warmer sounding headphone, but they also have this new button here, which is the bass effect button. That bass effect button is here for the purpose of adding bass to songs that lack in bass. So you can go ahead and put that, you know, if you have a song that naturally does not have bass, you press this button and it adds more bass to it. Theoretically, you can add bass to any track with that bass effect, even if it's basically if it's already bass prominent. But that's going to be kind of overkill, and that was a complaint with some people. When they bought this, they used the bass effect button for the previous model, and they were complaining like, hey man, that's too much bass. Well, your track already had bass in it. You didn't need to use a bass effect. But you know, that's what happened. Now we're in a position here where we have this here, and the sound is definitely warm. Now, another thing about that warmth is that it helps cut into the highs. Those are like explosions, cymbals clashing, and cymbal the instrument. You know, like higher guitar strings. Those cut the harshness of those, and so that bass will help to reduce any kind of harshness. Mids are decent as well on this. So I think that Sony did a good job in trying to get a lot better at the highs and mids, because that was a complaint with a lot of other people that didn't, you know, that had an appreciation for highs and mids. They're like, hey man, this is too damn bright. You know, it's too bright. It's hurting my ears at higher volumes, which I also experienced. But at the same time, that bass was one of the most prominent bass headphones that I had ever experienced. So I really did like this. One thing about this headphone though is that they actually come with an app now, and it helps to take out some of that bass. We'll go over that later in the functionality, but you have more control over the sound in this model. It's still bass prominent, and it can get pretty loud. I mean, these are some headphones that you can take to the gym. They're not meant for that, but you can take them to the gym and actually get some good sound out of this. This is a really prominent bass headphone. Don't expect the greatest clarity. Do not expect the mids and highs to be something like a Sennheiser Momentum or anything like that. These are not meant for that. These are kind of, think about a better sound. Think about if you were looking at like getting Beats, but better. I hate to compare them to Beats but Beats are the most popular, but they're better sounding than Beats, in my opinion. They're better sounding than Beats, and but they're just a lot cleaner and have a more rich sound to it with a little bit more functionality. All right, so bass is what you're looking for if you get these headphones. Another thing is that they offer noise cancellation, which also does add to the sound experience. So once you turn on that sound experience, once you turn on the noise cancellation, it helps to cancel out some of the external noise, and that will help with the overall experience. So highs are more controlled, not perfect. Mids are there, and you get a lot of clarity. A lot of lyrics are going to be coming through. I would say that you wouldn't get that breath of air that you would hear when you hear somebody like singing and they take a breath. You're not going to get that type of clarity where you can pick up those things, but you'll hear all the lyrics, some ad-libs that you probably never heard before if you had the previous model of these. All right, on to the Bose. Now the Bose are all about, they do have some warmth as well, but they're not really about that. They're about more clarity, a more balanced tone. I would give these like, hey, they have a more flat overall sound with a little bit of warmth, and which is good, because what you want is to be able to hear a wider range of things and instruments and sounds with your headphone. You don't want too much bass, you don't want too much highs, which will typically mean that you have a lack of bass. These are really well balanced. And it is pretty warm, which means that they have decent bass. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I first got these, I wasn't too impressed with the bass. Not to say that it wasn't present, but I thought it could have been fine-tuned a little bit more. And after giving it some time to burn in and to get these drivers really warmed up, I really feel like they did a really good job. If you're not into bass like as your most prominent tone, these are probably the option that I would suggest. The thing about this also, the previous model, the Bose QC35s, they had like a two-tier system, right? So when you use the aux cord on these, you had this flat sound. I didn't like it at all. But with these, when you have the aux cord in, I mean, it sounds just as amazing as it does wireless, which was kind of weird for me, because I thought that typically when you use an aux cord, you get more information delivered because it's coming right from the sound source. But no, this time, I mean, the experience is consistent, very good, very nice. Highs, mids, lows, all are done well. Also, you'll be able to hear a little bit more detail than you will with the Sonys on these. You can hear the breaths sometimes. It's not too harsh, it's not too clear, but you can, if you're really listening and you take the bass out on your equalizer setting, I mean, you can really get some clarity on here. I really like these headphones. As far as the highs and the mids, they're really controlled. You don't have to worry about that shrilliness that sometimes can be kind of piercing into your ears or your eardrums. I mean, these things are really well balanced and decent warmth to it as well. And yeah, I mean, I really like the sound on this. So we have both these headphones. If I were to choose one to listen to for the rest of my life, hands down, it would be the Bose. Even though I really like the bass on these headphones, I think that I have more of an appreciation for mids and highs. Sony has stepped up their game to make sure that the mids and highs on these headphones are better, but they're not to the standard of this. Also, the bass on here is not to the standard of this. This is a bass headphone. So it depends on what you like better for yourself. I personally have grown out of just loving so much bass now that I've started listening to so much more genres of music, that I kind of have an appreciation for that overall balanced sound. You're getting a very distinct, different sound here. Just to be clear, these aren't close in sound. This is bass heavy. This is more like with bass in it, but like geared toward clarity. Mids and highs are going to be a lot more controlled here. You're going to be missing out on a lot of that deep bass with these, and you're also missing out a lot of clarity that you can get from the Bose. So either way, you're going to have a pretty good sound experience, but pretty separate. Clarity, bass. Overall, bass. Okay, now let's talk about functionality on these two guys. Now, Sony has some really good functionality. I've always liked Sony's functionality because they basically give you a lot of things. They have NFC, the bass boost effect, noise cancellation, which was probably the only thing that they were missing from the prior model. Now, the bass boost effect is here, and let's talk about that for a second. Now, the bass effect, it adds the bass. Now we also come with a Sony app that you can pair with these headphones, and you can remove some of that bass as well, which is excellent. The reason why it's excellent is because sometimes a lot of people felt that the bass was overkill, and you weren't able to really gauge how much bass was really put into these headphones and overall overlaying on top of the sound that you already had. Now you have the ability to do that, to gauge how much bass that you really need to add, which basically like gives you like complete control over the sound. You can really cut into some of the harsher highs into that, or maybe they're not as harsh. Maybe you don't need to cancel them out, the highs, that much. So I feel like Sony did a really good job with the app by adding the ability to control how much bass. Now, you also have the ability to reduce bass by going negative on that bass, which really doesn't do a good job, especially if you were competing with your phone's equalizer setting. So it's better at adding bass than it is removing it. We also have the noise cancellation. Now, this noise cancellation is pretty okay. It's not the greatest in the world, and that's not bad. Let me tell you why. Or let me tell you what it can do. It can basically minimize your TV sound, but you'll still be able to hear it if you have like a medium volume. But it can get rid of like AC vents. It can get rid of your neighbor talking if you have like thin walls. It can get rid of those things that you probably don't want interrupting your sound anyway. So I think that it's pretty good because I'm a person who likes to be aware of my surroundings. A lot of people in the Bose QC35 thought that, man, it was so unnatural and it was so aggressive. It felt like I was in an airplane with that air pressure. It was really aggressive, and I didn't like it. But for the Sonys, I feel like they're okay, and that's passable. They're not going to win any awards for best noise cancellation here. You're going to get rid of your AC, maybe some cars driving, by your house, but you're not going to like cancel out like sound that's direct to you. Now, once in a while, let me just say this as well. Now, so we have decent noise cancellation, right? You also have these padded passive noise cancellation. So we have active, then we have passive with these huge air cushions. Then you have your music playing. So you have three things that are obstructing outside sound, cushions, and active noise cancellation. You're pretty much going to be good. Another thing about the headphone is that you also have the ability to scrub through tracks, which is pretty cool because not a lot of headphones offer that. And what I mean by scrubbing through tracks is, for the most part, headphones with Bluetooth, you can control fast forward or rewind, meaning you're jumping to the beginning of the track, you can maybe jump back to like the previous track, or you can go ahead to the next track in your line. Well, with this, you can actually rewind inside of the track, which is pretty good. But just by holding this back button here, or going forward, I think that's definitely a good thing. I do like it. I feel like a lot of times I just want to hear the previous 10 seconds of what I was listening to. Maybe I didn't hear what the artist had to say, and I can just I can do that without grabbing my sound source, because that's the reason why I have Bluetooth, so I don't have to be tethered to the sound source. NFC makes for a very easy pairing, and overall I feel like this is a very very capable headphone. With its build quality, its Bluetooth. Let's talk about the Bluetooth as well. First off, I want to say that the Bluetooth strength is very strong and very stable. I can go walk around within line sight, maybe through a door. I've actually went downstairs in my garage, and you know, it's held up pretty well. I'm not gonna say it's gonna go forever. I mean, I have experienced chipping at extreme distances, but I mean, I'm gonna say that this is probably one of the strongest Bluetooth signals on the headphone. Sony does that really well. Not only that, it doesn't get interrupted when the signal is being blocked. I have no idea where the Bluetooth receiver is and which air cup, because my body doesn't interfere with it, and I'm fine with that. It's a really strong, stable signal. It delivers very good sound. Also, I want to let you know that the bass effect button, it works whether it's wired or not wired. So before it didn't do that. So overall, very good Bluetooth, okay noise cancellation, features galore, scrubbing through tracks, noise cancellation. It does have a microphone. I do not suggest using it for voice calls and things like that. But other than that, I mean, everything you could ask for. One last thing before I get off of this. So these also do have voice prompts, but they're not the ones that are super intrusive. They're the ones that tell you, hey, bass effect on, battery level high, low, or medium, and you know, and power on, pairing, so forth. They're not the ones that actually will tell you every time that a text message comes in, text message from Karen or whatever. You know, it's just one of those things that, you know, it gives you voice prompts that are actually helpful, and they're there when you request it. There's no way to turn it off. It's on here. You either hate it or love it, but at least it's not too intrusive. Bose are a pretty good headphone, but they're not going to focus on giving you everything that Sony gives you. They have NFC for easy pairing. They're focused on, though, giving you what you need. So they have these 3 buttons on the back, which allow you to double press for fast forward, triple press for rewind, but you can't scrub through tracks. You have the volume controls, and you know, a battery indicator light here. You have an aux cord port, micro USB. They're going to give you less features, I would say, and built into the design of the headphone, but they also come with an app as well. Now that app has the ability to turn on voice prompts. Now those voice prompts go a little bit further than what Sony's does. That can actually tell you when you get a text message from a certain person. It can tell you, you know, your battery level, pairing, what you're paired to, which some people like, some people don't like. But the cool thing is that you have the option to turn those voice prompts off. Now, the one thing I did not like about this headphone was that if you connect it to your phone, it basically registers the taps, and I did not like that. So if you press your screen, it says, I hate that. It's just so annoying to me. So it did do that for me. You may be able to turn it off in the settings somewhere. I'm not saying that you can't, but that's what it did for me when I connected my phone. Overall though, the Bluetooth signal is pretty strong, but I don't think that it was strong as the Sony's. I felt like it chipped one time when I turned my body. It's not any slouch by any means. It's not chipping a lot, but I did feel like it's pretty stable. It's not as stable as the Sony's. You also have auto power off on these after a certain time, but you do need the app in order to do that. So basically, with this button here, once you turn it on, it's a static button, which means that you move it and you put it into place, and it stays on. So if you don't have the Bose Connect app, or if you're on your device and you don't tell it to turn off after a certain while, basically you're going to be draining the battery until you notice that you left it on. Other than that though, it's a pretty good, well-rounded headphone. The buttons are very nice and tactile. I really like the way that they did that. They don't have a lot of features to control the sound, but that noise cancellation is there. The noise cancellation is better than the Sony's. These are the perfect noise cancellation. It's a little bit more aggressive than the Sony's. It gets rid of more ambient noise. Also, you know, we don't have as prominent air cushions here, but we do have, you know, they do enclose the entire air, so you're going to get some of that passive noise cancellation as well. With that passive noise cancellation, this more aggressive noise cancellation, active noise cancellation, but you're just going to be able to do a lot more canceling of noise. which shouldn't interfere with your music as well. So where the Sonys may cancel out the AC and, you know, maybe somebody around you, they need the extra padded air and they need the extra sound. Overall, I mean, I think that Sony definitely offers more as far as technology. This does noise cancellation better. This does a lot of things better. They have the bass boost. You also have the ability to scrub in tracks. So as far as functionality, which one do I prefer? Obviously Sony's. Sony's has way better like control of what you can do. So overall, I think that this offers more. So I'm gonna give the win to Sony's in functionality. So overall, which one would I choose? It's gonna be pretty evident, I think. When it comes to sound, this has a cleaner sound. Its look is a little bit more pleasing to me. It's very minimalistic and it gives the controls that are better for me. These are more expensive, but at the same time, I feel like they just have a better build quality and they have more practicality. These are no slouch though. I really like these headphones, especially because I have a preference for bass. I have an appreciation for bass. Overall, I feel like the more well-rounded headphone is the Bose. This is more of still in that niche category where if you like bass and you need some noise cancellation, you want to go for these. Now, it's weird because I oddly feel like this offers more than this and as far as options go, and it's true, like they do offer more. You have the ability to scrub through songs and things like that, but I feel like what this does well is better. So the noise cancellation is better, the overall sound is better. You know, I would definitely choose the Bose. I'm not gonna front. I like this one better, but it's up to you, the consumer. So let me know what you guys like. Do you guys like the Sony or do you guys like Bose? Which one do you think is better and for what reason? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. That's it. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit a like, subscribe, and share it. I'll holler at you till next time. Peace.